All right. Well, as you can see by some of that footage that I rolled in there, I had an LTD Arrow 1000 NT, the charcoal black one. The reason I got it is I've been playing Jackson guitars for off and on, mostly Jackson guitars for, golly, 25, 30 years. And I've owned several throughout the years. I love Jackson guitars. I do. I just have to come to the conclusion I'm a Jackson guitar player. You know, that's what I do. That's what I am. But the reason I got that is because I had been playing Jackson for so long, and I wanted to try something different. You know, it's like and I see these LTD Arrows. I like the Arrow. I'm a V-shaped guy. I like the Rhodes King V. I've been playing V's type guitars for a long time, and I really like that shape. That's mostly the one from that whole brand of guitars that actually appeals to me. There's the Arrow, but I've been looking at it off and on for a good year or two maybe, and thinking, yeah, that's cool, I'd like to get it. And then, so anyway, the opportunity came, I had the money, and I bought one. It was an open box from Sweetwater. It was not so much an open box, but it was the I guess it was an open box because I got it at like, I don't know, $100 discount off of it, but which is no big deal, Sweetwater is fantastic. I've gotten several things from them over the years, several things, and they're good about taking stuff back if you don't. I've never had to send anything back except this one time, and that's what I'm going to get into. So instead of getting that, I turn around and end up getting this. So I got this Jackson KV1A instead, that. But here's the reason why I sent it back. If you see in the video, you'll see me looking at going like this and everything. Well, I was just messing around with it because I was filming an unboxing video, and I was just filming it, or that was the first time I had even taken it out of the box, looking at it myself. Beautiful guitar, beautiful, and but then you see me looking at stuff like that. Well, here's what the part I couldn't live with is that 95% of anybody else, it probably wouldn't even bug. It probably wouldn't bother them, but it bugged me. And it bugged me enough that I was like, I can't live with this. I don't want, And what it was on the back of the neck. There was a couple of spots like right here, and then the one kind of like right here, which is basically where your thumb goes. But what it was I think it was some wood dust that didn't get blown off when they painted it, and it felt like a grain of sand here and like right here, and it was just underneath your thumb. It was so small that you really couldn't even see it. It wasn't something that you could have just took off, something like that. And then I was playing it some more, and then I found there was two more spots like down in this area too that were the same thing. They were pretty close together, about like this, and that was the same deal. It's just kind of like this. And I was like, the more I played on it, I tried, and I was like, this is just gonna bug me. It's gonna bug me because I like a smooth neck, whether it be the satin finish neck, the bare wood necks like on my Warrior and my Pro Series Rhodes, or even a finish neck like this. It's got to be smooth. It's got to be smooth. And so I just was like, I had it for a couple days, and I called them up and I said, look, I got to send this back, because it was just going to bug me. Because every time I'd play on it, it would just, I don't know, it was distracting. And now some people are going to say, oh, you could have just sanded the neck down and stuff. I get it. I understand that. But man, it was already a satin finish neck. It was a smooth, fast neck. Felt good except for those few spots. There was 4 individual little spots, you know, and like I said, on the back of its neck, it was like here, here, and then a couple right in here. So I just couldn't get over it. You know, it was just going to bug me, and I didn't want to like sand the neck. What's the point of sanding the neck when it was already a satin finish and it was a fast neck? And like I said, 95% of anybody else wouldn't have, you know, sent it back. They would have kept it. It wouldn't have bugged them. It just bugged me, and I didn't want that. Other than that, that guitar was fantastic. It played great. It felt great. It looked great. It was nice. It was well built. But other than that issue, you know, that's what happened with that. So I ended up going, well, you know, let's just try another Jackson. Now, that being said, though, Jackson, you know, has its issues as well. There's times when people have issues with Jacksons. Fortunately, I have been very fortunate to not have any real major anything issues with any of the Jacksons I own. I mean, even on this JS32 Warrior I got, I was actually quite shocked at how great it played and how great it felt on the neck. You know, the frets and everything were done nicely. Everything was good on it, because that's actually the first I would consider budget guitar for Jackson that I've ever owned. They've all been X Series and up, you know, all the way to a Rhodes USA way back when I was playing in live and bands and recording and doing all that stuff. But that was about 4 years ago. Which that was one guitar I wish I would have never let go, but it's in good hands now. I know where it's at. I know who has it. But anyway, so I mean, I've went through the gambit of lines, and Jackson, there's plenty of people out there with problems with it. Fortunately, I haven't had any problems, except on this guitar there is one issue. That is one that I can live with. It's not that big a deal. And it's just that this nut for the Floyd Rose up here is not flush with this side right here. Barely, though. Barely. But it's flush down here. It's weird. But it's just barely. It just barely doesn't make the edge right here. But it doesn't affect its playing. It doesn't affect its tuning. I don't feel it when I'm playing. So it's not that big a deal. That's something like that I can live with. Am I like thrilled about it? Not 100%, but at the same time, you know, everything else with this guitar is nice. Other than that, that's it. So I'm saying Jacksons have issues too. That's not just LTD. It's not all. It's got a lot to do with all these imports and stuff. Even the USA made ones, and Japan made ones have issues. It just depends, man. You know, generally the higher the you go up, the less, you know, stuff there is wrong with it, things like that. But that was my experience with the LTD. That's the second one I tried to buy. I actually bought an Arrow 401 about two and a half years ago from Guitar Center. Right there will tell you that was a mistake. That kind of actually put a bad taste in my mouth. But that was not LTD's fault. That was Guitar Center's fault. They sold me like this. They lied to me. They even manipulated the pictures. It made it look better than it was. I got it, man, and this thing was just awful. I packed it up. I touched it for like 5 minutes, packed it back up, and called them up and said I need my money. And they did. They refunded it. They paid for the shipping back, everything. So, and I turned around and bought a Jackson, like I knew I should have. You know, so anyway, that's the deal with the Arrow. Unfortunate with that, because it was a great guitar. And, you know, I'm used to Jackson necks, but when I felt that neck, it's not that far different It's not like you're jumping from one guitar to something completely different. You know, that like, wow, that's going to take me a minute to get used to. No, man, it was like you could jump back and forth one to the other fairly easy and not notice really a whole lot of difference in the neck feel. You know, the way it's cut. You know, this is like I think this is like a thin, like a D, you know, and a LTD is a U shape or something like that. But I mean, it didn't really feel that much different. It was very comfortable, and I could tell that back and forth between, if I was playing back and forth between, you just wouldn't notice a whole lot different in the necks. I mean, a little bit, but it wouldn't be anything that would mess you up or take you 5 or 10 minutes to get used to. It's like you could jump back and forth and it would be no big deal. So anyway, that was my experience with the LTD Arrow, and why I got this one. And to be honest with you, I couldn't be happier with this. This thing is killer. So I'm actually, you know, feel like I made the right choice when I got this one. So for me personally, you know, and that's nothing to bash LTD about, because I mean, Jackson have issues too. So they are, you know, and maybe I'll try again in the future. You know, I'd like to try one of those E2 arrows, you know, with a Floyd on it. That would be fantastic, just to have that. Or even the non-Floyd version, it doesn't matter. But yeah, the Japanese made ones. Anyway, that is all I'm going to say about it, you know, because I've been asked. I did a short video on the NT, and that's why I don't have it anymore, and that's why I got this, and I don't regret it. Anyway, keep it metal.